attention to reality, they get demonized. And I'm just one of these soldiers out here trying to bring attention back to reality.
Or what the hell she asked? I was waiting for her
She's
to
talking about the beauty
tie it in.
standard.
These black folks' minds are so warped. I understand why this particular person, the one in the blue, would say that, because she's trying to maximize her pool of potential suitors.
BLM, where are you at? Black leaders always talking about systemic racism, where are you at?
I have a couple answers and I have a couple questions. So let's run it back from the top.
BLM, where are you at?
Black Lives Matter is a movement and organization dealing in police brutality and instances of racial injustice, not inner city gun violence. If you must know, there are plenty of organizations on the ground in Chicago that deal with gun violence every single day.
Black leaders always talking about
But I would argue that BLM gets the most attention out of any organization. But what really fucks black people up more than anything? Police brutality or black on black crime?
systemic racism, where are you at?
Having the conversation that is way more complex and nuanced than just, it's the culture, bro. But we got some questions from that perspective later.
Why doesn't anyone call this out and say, this is bullshit? What are y'all doing? What are we doing?
Because the vast majority of people, and yes, even black people, already know that someone killing another person is bad. And asking black people to speak on behalf of their entire race every time a black person kills another black person is A, not a standard that any other demographic in this country is held to.
Nor should they be when we kill each other the most. So that much more attention needs to be placed on it. This sounds like a lack of accountability to me, man. Black folks taking black folks' lives happens a lot more than any cop out here taking anyone's life. And we're not supposed to talk about it? That makes no sense. We need to talk about that shit more. Media don't focus any attention on black crime. They focus on the police brutality, which is part of the goddamn problem. But why isn't more attention focused on black crime? That doesn't seem odd to you?
B, does nothing to change the material conditions on the ground that actually lead to things like those shootings. And C,
lack of accountability on that one too. There's a lack of accountability on that one too. People are in total control over the decisions they make, right? Black folks are not the only one to live in harsh conditions, but yet we kill each other the most, commit the most crimes, commit the most murders, right? Another lack of accountability, man. It's not on one particular party. It's not just on black folks. It's not just on the social class system. It's not just on systemic racism. It's a lot of nuance to it. But to just extract black folk out and say we're not supposed to hold ourselves accountable is a bunch of bullshit, man.
works to paint an entire group as a monolith and incredibly violent for the actions of a few members of that group.
Y'all say
And it's not just a few. It's not just a few compared to all the other demographics, not all the other races. Not just a few. Look at the stats. It's not just a few.
this to stop, but we don't work together to curate the culture that would actually lead to this stopping.
And here's what I was talking about earlier. I have some questions. What do you mean curating a culture that would lead to this stopping? Moreover, how exactly does curating a particular culture solve problems that were not created by culture? Case in point, rap music.
What does its creation have to do with anything? It's the same as saying that, you know, the civil rights movement started because of how black folks used to be treated, and we're still acting like black folks are still treated that way today. Like the past is the past. We still have to resolve this issue today. So its creation is irrelevant, right? Okay, we know who created it and why it was created. Us identifying that is going to fix the culture that we're in right now. We still need to fix it. There's no accountability, man. It's like the situation's fucked up. Black folks are those that do decide to do these horrendous things, or just they can't help it. It's just the way it is, and we're not going to take any accountability because the way they're acting, the way they're acting, what they're doing is in no fault of their own, because they're not at fault for why they are in the position that they're in. You know what they do have control over? The actions that they take. And to act like black culture is entirely fucked up due to other people is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There's a lot wrong with black culture that everybody is aware of, whether you black, white, red, brown, blue, whatever, man. And we still continue to engage in all the fucked up shit that black culture has to offer voluntarily. Why? We're going to blame that shit on everybody else too? Motherfuckers are in control of their own decisions and actions, man. And to glorify things and to be looking cool and to spend money on the wrong shit and be distracted by shit that don't fucking matter, bro. Like, we're going to blame that on everybody else. All right. All right.
Did black people start rapping about how cool it would be to go shoot up people and keep guns on them, and then black people started doing that? Or were many black people already living in the circumstances in which they were doing that already, and then a few of them started making music about their stories?
No accountability, bro. What? Are you serious? The creation is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is that we're here right now. So how do we fix it? To get black folks to identify the problems that we have in society, assess it, address it, and fix it. Move accordingly. This fucking pawn it off shit saying it's not our fault. It's not. It does nothing. We're just pointing the finger at other motherfuckers. It takes everybody to fix this shit. Especially black folk.
Remind me how they got into that position again? Education. Was a core black value to set up the school to prison pipeline and then exclude yourself from higher education? Or did, for whatever reason, black literacy get banned and then schools were segregated while black people were redlined into areas that had no money, and then when they couldn't segregate schools anymore, they started funding public schools based off property taxes, but then again, the property didn't have that much money in it, so then schools didn't get that much funding, and then classroom size. Finances. Was a core black value to get money and then just choose not to save up enough of it for future generations? Or did black people, work for free, and then when they were finally able to get money, some of them tried to buy houses only to have their loans denied disproportionately or get charged incredibly high interest rates?
But that is not happening right now. It is illegal to redline. Did it allow everybody else to get a head start on us? Yes. Is that unfair? Yes. Is that unequal? Yes. All right. But how are we going to move forward from that if we keep dwelling on it? It happened. It's the past. It's fair game now. It's fair game now. Everyone has the opportunity to do whatever the fuck it is they want to do. But what do we continue to do? Dwell on the past. And you can continue to dwell on it. You can think about it and you can allow it to affect you and hold on to this victim mentality and don't go out to get what's yours. Or you can recognize what the fuck happened in the past, assess it, and figure, and I say figure, no, go get it. Because there's nothing in your way besides people preaching this ideology, preaching this poison that's going to fuck you up mentally, where you believe that you can't achieve the highest of heights because you're black.
Or just get booted out of their community because the white people didn't want them there. And a lot of the other avenues to learn how to save your money and spend your money responsibly is guarded behind tuition costs and higher education that black people could not afford disproportionately because for whatever reason, violence was...
Could not. You hear that past tense, could not. But last time I checked, black women are attending university at the highest level of any demographic, proportionately. So things we cannot act like we're living in Jim Crow right now. We can't act like it. I know they want y'all to think that. I know that the media wants you to think that. I know that these fucking whatever. I don't want to talk shit. I don't want to demonize or insult anyone, man. This is not going to lead to anything positive. We can talk about it all day, but what can we do about it? What can we do about it? What can you do about it? Go out there and get it.
Was a core black cultural value to just get guns and shoot each other? Or did people get put into poor areas where their wealth, mobility, and job opportunity were greatly hindered, and their community protection was greatly hindered, considering that the police and government were working on the same racist policies? So you turn inward for revenue and for protection. That snowballs into gang violence that we see today. Thus, these are the conversations we should be having.
No accountability, bro. No accountability, dog. None whatsoever, bro.
And these are the conversations that people who correctly point out the fact of systemic racism are having. So while it's easy and more punchy to put the blame on black people by just saying it's the culture, bro, and while everybody should do the best to improve their circumstances, it is a fact that policy has created a lot of the issues we see. It is a fact that environment will shape the culture, and until the environment gets changed, we will keep seeing this.
And the environment is changing, bro. The environment is changing. At this point, especially, music has an enormous influence on black culture, bruh. And the things that are talked about in black culture, in spite of the fact that we are hypersensitive of the fucked up environment that a lot of black folks live in, people know what to do. As far as people know the right things to do, but it's not glorified, dog. It's not glorified, man. But at the end of the day, it's about the decisions you make. It's about the decisions that you make. If you allow yourself to be a product of your environment and not take advantage of that infinite streams of information and education you have available to you freely, You know what I mean? And become informed on your own. You know, I was crying victim not that long ago, but it wasn't to this extent, man. But I say that to say that where I am now is not due to any special education that I was afforded or you know, certain privileges that I have, man. It's because I was able to dig in this shit on my own and realize that the real situation that we are all in, and everyone has that available to them. It's just that you have to take it upon yourself to get outside your box and really see what the fuck is all going on out there besides your little black struggle box. And all this is, this does nothing good for black folks. All it does is point the finger. We can't help it. It ain't our fault. It's y'all's fault. Look at the history, and it is what it is. I'm going to continue to fucking not do right, not get right, not achieve my goals, not be successful because I'm black and I just can't fucking help it.